It's not just your ex that's the problem. It could be the attorney. And the worst version of your spouse is being enabled potentially by this attorney. And many attorneys, this was surprising to me, but many attorneys fuel drama, not resolution. And you have to understand the system. Welcome to Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind. I'm Corey Shapiro. Are you months into your divorce? Maybe even years? Have you spent a lot of time, a lot of money, and you're stuck? You're stuck in your positions. Your position is reasonable. Your soon-to-be ex's position's unreasonable. And the attorney they hired, your soon-to-be ex's attorney, is unhelpful and you think hurtful. So what's going on here? Now, the real enemy in your divorce, if you're in one of these difficult divorces where just things are stalled and you can't find a way out, it's not just your ex that's the problem. It could be the attorney. And the worst version of your spouse is being enabled potentially by this attorney. And many attorneys, this was surprising to me, but many attorneys fuel drama, not resolution. And you have to understand the system. And that's what I want to do on this podcast. Because if you understand the system, you won't take it personally and you'll be better able to move forward in your divorce to where you really want to go. Now, let me just give an example. I had a recent case I settled and it seemed everything was going along great. I thought the other side was working with me, cooperative. And then I asked them to draw up the agreement because they represented the moneyed spouse. And they sent me an agreement that was half-baked, like just basically boilerplate, just, the sketches of an agreement, the outline of the agreement. I mean, it was in form, but didn't put in all the detail, where the rubber meets the road, like someone giving you a half-baked cake. Like, thank you very much. And I had to spend time and energy putting it all together, even though I represented the non-moneyed spouse. And I had to do it under strict deadline because we had court and everything got done. But we spent much more money than it should have been spent. And it was all set up by that attorney. And they knew what they were doing. Now you might be thinking, well, couldn't I get the attorney fees on the other side? It wasn't enough to fight that fight, but it was more than my client wanted to spend. So that's what's going on here. The attorney style is dominant, and you have to understand this game so you can play better. The first style that I want to talk about is the swarmer. The second style is the brawler. The third style is the boxer. And the fourth style is the top dog. Let's start with style number one, the swarmer. Their strategy, like their wine of choice, is chaos. They are just chaotic. They weaponize the overwhelm. And they're going to create so much noise that you're going to not want to deal with them. That's their goal. They're not necessarily good trial attorneys. I don't think most family law attorneys are good trial attorneys, but these people are probably one of the worst trial attorneys, but they're very good in court. A lot of court for family law cases, and if you're in a difficult divorce, you go to these conferences and it's more informal, where you can just advocate in front of the judge or go into the back and talk to the judge privately. They can be very chaotic with the judge and make things confusing. So that's the swarmer. It's like death by 1,000 cuts, but they're not focusing on anything in particular that could really hurt you. They're just focusing on a lot of things, and hopefully something's going to catch, which contrasts with the brawler. The brawler's all about strategy, is a direct assault. That's their strategy. It's a direct assault. And if they have something on you, give in, because they're going to probably knock you out. And don't waste that time, energy, money, gambling. And if you think the issue has some relevance, but you're concerned, get a second opinion. And I know that's going to be hard to decide if the issue is important or not. If it's not important, you might want to fight the fight. But brawlers, unlike the swarmer, they're good at trial. They can take you down on cross-examination. They know what they have. So if they have something on you, back away. That's the brawler. Okay, the third style is the boxer. Their strategy is resolution. Better boxers or more experienced boxers can counterpunch. They're fair, but they can hit hard. They want settlement, but they could brawl if necessary, or at least fight back. Now, they don't want to start fights, but sometimes they have to end it. That's the boxer. The four styles, the top dog. They can do everything. They can be a swammer, they can be a brawler, they can be a boxer. They are efficient when you want them to be efficient. They're ruthless when you want them to be ruthless. They don't follow a script. The issue with the boxer, obviously, is they're super expensive. They're war machines if they have to be. Now, why does this matter? Because I don't want you to feel overwhelmed and you feel you're doing something wrong. I want you to understand this is the system. It's like going to the hospital and not realizing how expensive everything is. If a hospital gives you a Band-Aid, it's not like going to the local pharmacy for Dwayne Reed for us. It's not the same. It could be hundreds of dollars just for a Band-Aid at the hospital. Everything has its own price structure. And that's what it's like in court or when you're hiring an attorney in the divorce world and you're new to it. You don't know what's really going on. And once you're in that maze, it's hard to see where you are. I'm trying to give you the map, trying to give you a different elevation. Now, if you're confused about this and you feel you're stuck and your divorce is months or which is a difficult divorce, or maybe even years, maybe it's moving into a derailed divorce, which is, few years, then please have this conversation with your attorney or even with yourself and then talk to your attorney for 15 minutes. Just make sure you're on alignment on these following questions. What's our goal? So in my case, with that divorce I talked about, our goal was a fair settlement, which was equals a long marriage, and to move things fast. What was the timeline? Fast. I got it. ASAP. They wanted fast. Who were we dealing with? Someone who's sort of passive aggressive, but they're not. They're barky, but they're not really bitey. So I thought they were more boxer. It turned out to be a light form of boxer because they didn't really want to resolve things. But at the end of the day, they did resolve things. They just made me do all the work. What's their style? Well, in this case, I would say mostly cooperative in my style. Okay, that's what we have. And you have to know your style that you're dealing with your attorney and make sure they are aligned with you. Now, here's some affirmations which I want you to share. I'm going to do it with you, and I want you to repeat it. Because if you're in a difficult divorce, if you're up against a swammer, and I've been up against them, they are taxing. I've been up against brawlers. Got to have that really honest conversation with your attorney so you're not going to waste anyone's time and maybe settle early if they have the goods on you. Okay, so here's some affirmations. Say them with me. My clarity is louder than their chaos. Say it with me. My clarity is louder than their chaos. Number 2, I will not fund their delay. I will not fund their delay. 3, I run my divorce like a CEO, not a casualty. I run my divorce like a CEO, not a casualty. 4, I respond, I don't react. I respond, I don't react. And repeat those affirmations. Let them fill you with positive energy. Because if you're dealing with a more complicated divorce attorney, you're going to be in for it. And I want you to move towards your goals, but there's going to be a lot of obstacles. And these affirmations can really help you through that in a more positive mindset. Now remember, this is not just about the law. This is about strategy. It's about a mindset. It's about survival sometimes to get to thriving, to get to your post-divorce life. I'm Corey Shapiro. I'm helping you to stop reacting, start thinking, and fight back smarter so you can get a divorce without losing your mind.
Thank you for tuning in to the Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind podcast with divorce coach Corey Shapiro. This podcast offers general information only. It cannot replace legal advice. If you need tailored advice, contact an attorney licensed to practice in your area